Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. Time now for our crypto corner, and thank goodness we got Bitcoin and Ethereum at record highs. We even have the laggards, Litecoin up 22%, Cardano up 10%, and lots of headlines today. We want to get to Emily Parker. She is the CoinDesk global macro editor and also the CoinDesk TV anchor. Thanks for joining us today. Lots of headlines to focus on. Tim Cook likes crypto, so does AMC, but can we just talk about the price movements here and what they mean?
Sure. I mean, this is obviously a lot is happening in crypto at the moment. Bitcoin, Ether crossing all-time highs. Part of this is riding the momentum of the first Bitcoin futures ETF in the United States. That was definitely, I think, one of the main factors behind this initial rally, but now it's kind of taking on a life of its own. And as you said, rising tide kind of lifts all boats. A lot of the other coins are rising as well. So there's just a lot of energy in the market. It's interesting, though, because there are some regulatory actions happening in the United States that would not be seen as positive, and yet, the price doesn't seem to care.
And wanted to ask you, switch gears a little bit, in that landmark infrastructure bill that we just got was, a provision that was included to amend a tax code that many in the crypto industry wanted to push back. In fact, that's why the bill was held up in the Senate, because there was debate over it. Can you discuss what that is?
Sure. So there's actually several controversial provisions in the infrastructure bill, and the crypto industry really lobbied hard to get them changed, but they weren't changed. The bill is now waiting for the signature of President Biden. And so the two controversial provisions, one basically expands the definition of a broker, which could include people like miners. And the problem with this is that miners don't traditionally have customers. So the short story is that it makes it difficult for them to comply with this tax reporting requirement. And some crypto advocates have warned that if these tax reporting requirements are not something that one can comply with, this could lead people in the crypto industry to actually exit the United States. The second controversial provision, which is one that I think has gotten less attention, basically says that if you receive over $10,000 worth of digital assets, you have to verify the information of the sender, including their social security number, and report it. This is problematic, obviously, for a lot of reasons. And so I guess the possible silver lining is that the crypto advocates have not given up. They are still trying to change this. These wouldn't take effect right away. So there is still time to maybe change some of these provisions that the industry finds so problematic.
Well, Emily, with Bitcoin at record highs here, a lot of hodlers like to say that, but we haven't seen the same upside momentum that we have in previous advances. A lot of people were calling for 75, 100,000. Haven't seen that just yet. I'm wondering how much of it is necessary to get the institutionalization of cryptocurrencies back into Wall Street, back into the forefront. I was reading only earlier today a headline: JP Morgan leads Wall Street banks in blockchain hiring. They have over 100 open positions there. So putting all of this together, do we have the momentum for Wall Street to push Bitcoin to record highs in a material way?
Well, I mean, I think Wall Street and institutional adoption and mainstream adoption has played a big role in pushing Bitcoin up this far. There's been news from, it's kind of ironic because, Bitcoin sort of started as almost an alternative to Wall Street. It was supposed to be independent from banks. And yet, the involvement of the institutional players is definitely having a positive impact on the price. But, I think it's really anybody's guess. I mean, it's always very difficult to tie one causal factor to the rise of Bitcoin. I think the only one that I've seen in the past few months that's been really clear is the Bitcoin futures ETF. That clearly had an impact on price because that was clearly seen as a kind of, more widespread acceptance of Bitcoin and kind of an opening to a new class of investors. But other than that, it's really, anyone's guess. And you also see a lot of counterintuitive trends. For example, China has really cracked down on Bitcoin even more than before. And it's really, as you can see, it's not really affecting the price in any significant way.
Yeah, China is definitely going in the other direction. We won't have to leave it there. Yeah. Emily Parker, CoinDesk Global Macro Editor and CoinDesk TV Anchor. Thank you so much for your time and your insight today.